What if the woman everyone mocked at her husband's funeral turned out to be the secret owner of a fashion empire, powerful enough to destroy her tormentor's life with a single call? Keep reading to uncover the shocking downfall of the snobbish daughter-in-law and the ultimate twist of poetic justice. Subscribe for more jaw-dropping revenge stories you'll never forget. At my husband's funeral, my daughter-in-law, named Claire, turned grief into spectacle. Her voice sliced through the chapel's quiet. "My God, mother-in-law, did you really show up in that cheap dress?" The room stiffened. My simple black silk sheath, chosen for its quiet dignity, suddenly felt like a target. What Claire didn't know, the dress cost $80,000, designed exclusively for me. "Claire," my son Michael hissed, mortified, but she was just warming up. "Someone needs to say it. I work in luxury retail. I know quality. That dress is bargain bin." Her friends tittered. The humiliation stung, not because her words were true, they weren't, but because she was so eager to belittle me when my husband lay in his coffin. Tears filled my eyes, not of sorrow for my loss, but of sheer, cold fury. My daughter Anna squeezed my arm. "Mom, ignore her," she whispered. But I stayed silent, letting Claire bury herself deeper. She mocked my shoes, custom pumps worth $12,000, as if they were flea market finds. She even offered to lend me clothes from her exclusive connections, blissfully unaware that I was her ultimate boss, the secret founder of the very luxury brand whose paycheck she cashed. I maintained the role I'd played for decades, a modest widow driving a battered Honda, drinking $5,000 Bordeaux from an ordinary glass. Even my children believed I was simply comfortable. But behind a hidden bookshelf in my modest apartment lay a private office, contracts for 17 boutiques, 3 textile factories, and a fortune well past $100 million. That night, I phoned Janet, my longtime HR director. "Review Claire's record," I instructed coolly. Meticulously. Janet needed no explanation. She knew my tone meant someone's days were numbered. The next morning, my loyal assistant Estelle confirmed Claire's history: late to shifts, condescending to clients, constantly on her phone. Security footage even captured her taking photos with merchandise she hadn't purchased. The woman who ridiculed me for lacking class was poisoning my business with arrogance. By midweek, Claire boasted on social media about her charity toward her supposedly dowdy mother-in-law. Michael, oblivious, even offered me money. "If you need help, Mom, Claire says we can take you shopping when she's promoted." Promoted? My stores had no such plans. Estelle confirmed her supervisor was considering probation, not advancement. I had Janice dig deeper. Within a day, we knew everything. Claire and Michael drowning in debt, $40,000 in credit cards, a $22,000 car loan, even a pending mortgage application that relied on Claire's imaginary promotion. The stage for justice was set. By Friday, I dressed in an understated Chanel suit, pearls gleaming softly, and walked into the flagship boutique I owned but had never publicly claimed. Claire leaned on the counter, laughing into her phone. "My mother-in-law is so pathetic," she said while a customer waited. "We'll take her shopping when I'm promoted. Imagine teaching a 70-year-old how to dress." I approached. "Excuse me," I said mildly. Claire's eyes widened. "Mother-in-law, what are you doing here?" "Shopping," I replied. "Michael gave me some money. Perhaps you can help me choose something appropriate." Her grin sharpened. "Great. First, what's your budget? Things here aren't like the flea market you usually shop at." I lied. $500. She laughed. "With that, you can barely buy earrings." "But fine, let's see what we can find for so little." She paraded me through clearance scarves, boasting of her eye for luxury, bragging again about her upcoming manager promotion. Just then, her supervisor appeared. "Claire, Miss Coleman is waiting for you in the office." Claire paled and hurried upstairs, assuming she was about to hear of her promotion. I strolled the store, listening as younger associate Chloe confided softly, "Some employees judge customers by how they look. But our founder, Miss Coleman, teaches that true elegance is respect and humility." My heart swelled. My staff had learned my lesson except Claire. Minutes later, Claire returned, baffled. She must have stepped out, she muttered. Probably to tell me about my promotion. Shall we continue? I asked sweetly. Of course, she said, then bragged. When I'm manager, I'll enforce a dress code for clients. We can't have just anyone here. If someone looks cheap, I'll politely direct them to stores more appropriate for their level. I raised an eyebrow. Interesting philosophy. Exactly. My boss will be proud. At that moment, Estelle entered. Ma'am, she said, they're waiting for you in the office. Claire frowned. Who are you? I'm Miss Coleman's personal assistant, Estelle replied. Claire blinked. And what does my mother-in-law have to do with your boss? Estelle smiled faintly. Your mother-in-law is my boss. Color drained from Claire's face. Claire's lips parted, but no sound came out. Her knuckles whitened around the silk scarf she'd been flaunting moments earlier. The boutique around us seemed to fall silent, the muted hum of customers and staff fading as if the entire room held its breath. You're Miss Coleman? She finally stammered, her voice an octave higher than usual. I met her gaze without flinching. Yes, Claire. I am the founder and sole owner of this entire chain of boutiques. My tone was calm, almost gentle, but there was no mistaking the steel beneath it. Her eyes darted to Estelle, searching for an ally. That's not possible, she whispered. You live in a basic apartment. You drive an old Honda. Your clothes. The black dress you mocked at the funeral cost $80,000, I interrupted quietly. The pumps you called flea market finds were custom made for $12,000. Claire's face drained of color until she looked like porcelain about to crack. I didn't know, she croaked. That, I said, stepping closer, is exactly the problem. You don't treat people with respect unless you think they have money or influence. Estelle calmly produced a folder from her bag and held it out to me. I opened it, letting the papers flutter softly. Would you like to hear what your supervisors have reported over the past 2 years? Claire swallowed hard. Reports? I nodded to Estelle. She began reading aloud, her voice crisp. March 15th. Client complaint employee Claire Bennett ignored a customer for 20 minutes after deciding she did not fit the economic profile to shop here. That's not. April 22nd, Estelle continued, unperturbed. A 60-year-old client was treated with open condescension and shown only clearance items without being asked her preferences. Claire flinched. May 8th, Estelle read. Employee used her personal phone for 2 hours during her shift, neglecting multiple customers. I can explain. Explain what? I cut in, my voice rising just enough to silence her. Explain why you thought it acceptable to humiliate a 70-year-old widow at her husband's funeral, or why you decided you could determine a person's worth based solely on their clothing. Tears welled in Claire's eyes, smudging the mascara she'd so carefully applied. I didn't mean. You meant every word, I said coldly. What you didn't mean was for me to hear it. Around us, a few employees had drifted closer, trying to appear busy but unable to hide their curiosity. Chloe, the young associate who had spoken so respectfully earlier, watched from behind a display of silk blouses. Claire, I continued, lowering my voice but not my intensity, you told me I didn't have the figure or presence for quality clothes. That is your true opinion when you believe there are no consequences. I didn't know you were. Exactly. I stepped even closer until we were eye to eye. You respect people only when you believe they can benefit you. That is not the kind of employee who represents my company, Estelle added quietly. Security footage from this morning records you speaking disparagingly of a client, your own mother-in-law, while neglecting a waiting customer. Claire's breathing quickened. You were recording me? This boutique is equipped with cameras to protect clients and staff, I replied. Every word you spoke on that phone is preserved. Estelle pulled another document from the folder. Additionally, a financial review shows debts exceeding $60,000, expenses outpacing household income by 300%, and multiple unreported salary advances. Claire's head jerked up, shock written across her face. How do you? I know everything I need to know about the people I employ, I said, my voice like ice. especially those who marry into my family. She clasped her hands, trembling. Please, I need this job. We're buying a house. Marcus Michael doesn't know the full situation. If you fire me, he'll discover the truth, I finished for her. Just as I have. Claire's composure crumbled, tears streamed freely now, streaking her cheeks. I swear, I'll change. I'll be different. I shook my head slowly. Claire, you are 32 years old. If you have not learned basic respect by now, you will not learn it because of a warning. But I'm family, she cried, desperation sharpening her voice. You can't do this to your own daughter-in-law. That makes your behavior even more unforgivable, I said, my tone like a door closing. Family requires mutual respect. You chose to break that. Estelle handed me the final document. Your termination letter, I said, placing it gently on the counter between us. Effective immediately. Claire's breath caught. This is revenge. You're firing me out of spite. This is business, I corrected. Multiple violations of company policy. Mistreatment of clients. Misuse of work time. Fraudulent statements in financial documents. If anything, I have been patient. The boutique had fallen entirely silent. Chloe stood frozen behind the register. 2 security guards, summoned by Estelle, appeared discreetly near the entrance. Claire's voice broke. Please, Miss Coleman. Don't ruin my marriage. Michael will hate me if he finds out. I met her eyes without blinking. Michael will know everything, including the fact that you humiliated his mother when you believed she was powerless. Including the mortgage application built on a promotion that never existed. He will know because I will show him the evidence. No, please, she sobbed. Give me one more chance. You had 2 years of chances, I said, my voice soft now, almost sorrowful. And you chose cruelty every time. Even at a funeral. Estelle signaled to the guards. Please escort Miss Bennett while she collects her belongings. Claire spun toward me, tears streaking her face. You're using me as an example? In front of everyone? Yes, I said simply. This is the lesson my employees must never forget. We treat every person with dignity because we never know who stands before us. Chloe stepped forward timidly. Because it's the right thing to do, she added, her young voice steady. I smiled faintly. Exactly, Chloe. True elegance is respect, not arrogance. Claire's shoulders sagged as the guards guided her toward the staff lockers. At the door, she turned back one last time, eyes full of desperation and fury. You haven't seen the last of me, she hissed. Perhaps not, I replied calmly. But if you challenge this in court, be prepared for the evidence, defamation, policy violations, fraud. I have enough to keep you explaining yourself for years. Her mouth opened, then shut. Whatever retort she had died on her lips, she left without another word. The boutique exhaled collectively. Employees exchanged glances of awe and quiet admiration. Diane, the store supervisor, approached me. Miss Coleman, should we share this with the other branches as a training example? An excellent idea, I said. Let it remind everyone, every customer deserves respect, no matter their appearance. Diane nodded firmly. Understood. I turned to Chloe. Your professionalism today was exemplary. Effective immediately, you're promoted. Her eyes widened. Thank you, Miss Coleman. Don't thank me, I said. Earn it every day. Treat every client with the respect you showed me when you thought I was just another shopper. When I finally stepped out of the boutique, a strange quiet settled over me. The revenge I had planned, swift and decisive, was complete. But as I slid into my discreet Honda, I knew the hardest part remained, telling my son exactly why his wife no longer had a job and why he would have to face the truth about the woman he married. That evening, I called Michael and asked him to visit. He arrived looking bewildered. Mom, he began. Claire came home in tears. She says you had her fired. She claims it's some kind of misunderstanding. I led him to the hidden door behind my bookshelf. When it swung open to reveal the secret office mahogany desk, framed contracts, photographs of my boutiques, his jaw dropped. What is this? "This," I said softly, "is the life your father and I built. The fortune we chose to keep hidden so you and Anna could grow up with humility." Michael ran his fingers over the leather-bound ledgers, stunned. "We're rich?" "Yes," I said simply. "And for decades we let the world think otherwise, to see people's true character." He stared at me, the weight of revelation settling on his face. "And Claire?" Your wife," I said, handing him the folder of reports and recordings, "showed her character the moment she believed I was powerless." He read the documents in silence, color draining from his cheeks. She humiliated you at Dad's funeral?" "Yes, and that was only the beginning." Michael lowered the papers slowly. I can't believe I didn't see it." I laid a hand on his shoulder. "Now you must decide, my son. What kind of man will you be, one who excuses cruelty, or one who stands for the values your father and I tried to teach you?" Michael closed his eyes, the conflict plain on his face. "I need time to think," he whispered. "Take the time you need," I said. "But remember, some decisions cannot be postponed forever." He left without another word, and I was alone with the quiet thrum of the city night. My revenge had exposed more than Claire's cruelty. It had revealed the cracks in my own family and the test my son now. 2 days passed in a tense hush. I tried to focus on the numbers in my business reports, but my mind kept drifting to Michael. Would he cling to the illusion of the woman he loved, or finally see the truth? At dawn on the 3rd day, my phone rang. It was Anna, her voice taut with shock. "Mom, what on earth is going on?" Michael called me at midnight, sobbing. "He said you're a millionaire and that Claire got fired because of you. Is it true?" "Yes, sweetheart," I answered evenly. "It's time you knew everything. Come to the house this morning. I'll explain it all." When Anna arrived 2 hours later, she stepped into my modest living room, still unaware of the hidden door that guarded decades of secrets. "I can't believe you kept this from us," she said, eyes wide with a mix of wonder and hurt. I led her into the secret study. Her gasp mirrored Michael's 2 nights earlier as she took in the marble floors, the panoramic photos of the boutiques, and the ledgers of investments worth hundreds of millions. "My God, Mom," she whispered, "we grew up thinking we were middle class." "That was intentional," I said. "Your father and I wanted you and your brother to learn humility and kindness without money's shadow warping your values." Anna touched a framed photo of her late father. "You and Dad built all this in silence?" "Yes. And I intend to pass it to you both, if you can carry it without arrogance." She turned to me, her brow furrowed. "Michael told me what Claire said at Dad's funeral." "How could she be so cruel?" "That," I replied, "is exactly what I needed Michael to see with his own eyes. Claire revealed her heart when she thought she was safe to wound someone she believed powerless." Before Anna could respond, my phone buzzed again. Estelle's voice was crisp. "Miss Coleman, Claire is here at the main office. She insists on seeing you. She says it's urgent." I glanced at Anna. "Would you like to meet your sister-in-law under more honest circumstances?" Anna's eyes narrowed. "I wouldn't miss it." An hour later, we entered my executive office, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city skyline, every inch a reflection of the empire Claire had never imagined. Anna sank into a side chair, silent but watchful. Estelle ushered Claire in. She was unrecognizable from the woman who had once strutted through the boutique. Her makeup was smudged, her dress was wrinkled as if she had slept in it. She clutched her handbag like a lifeline. "Miss Coleman," she began, her voice cracking, "thank you for seeing me. I know I've made terrible mistakes, but please, give me another chance." I gestured toward the chair across from my desk. "Sit down, Claire." Her eyes flicked to Anna and widened. "Anna, what are you doing here?" Anna folded her arms. "I'm here to see what my brother married." Claire flushed but turned back to me. "Ma'am, I can change. I'll take customer service classes. I'll go to therapy. Whatever it takes. Please don't let this one mistake destroy me." I leaned forward, hands clasped. "Tell me, Claire. What exactly do you think you did wrong?" She hesitated. I shouldn't have spoken about you at work." And I shouldn't have used my phone during my shift. And the funeral? I asked softly. Claire blinked. The funeral? Yes, my husband's funeral. When you called me classless and mocked my dress in front of everyone. Her mouth tightened. I was trying to help you with your image. Anna's voice was sharp. You call publicly humiliating someone help? I didn't humiliate her, Claire protested weakly. I was being honest. There it is, I murmured to Anna. She still doesn't believe she did anything wrong. Claire's eyes filled with tears. I can learn. I can change, Claire, I said, my tone steady. You feel remorse for the consequences, not for the harm you caused. There is a difference. Her voice trembled. I feel bad for hurting you. When did you start feeling bad? I asked. At the funeral while you were insulting me, or when you discovered I owned the company? Claire's lips parted, but no answer came. That silence, I said gently, is your answer. Anna leaned forward. You married my brother Claire, and in 2 years you never once showed true respect for our mother. You saw her as a woman you could belittle. That's not true, Claire whispered. I pulled out a folder of family reports notes from holidays and dinners. I have records of your dismissive comments about my clothes, my home, even my cooking. Those weren't slip-ups. They reveal character. They were just jokes, Claire said faintly. Jokes, Anna repeated, disgusted. Cruelty disguised as humor. Claire turned back to me, desperation flaring. Miss Coleman, please talk to Michael. Tell him to forgive me. I can fix this marriage if you'll help me. I shook my head slowly. Your marriage isn't mine to save, and you can't fix what you never valued. But he'll leave me, she cried. He'll hate me if we lose everything. Then tell him the truth, I said. All of it. The debts. The lies about your promotion. The way you treated me when you believed I was poor. Claire's voice dropped to a whisper. And if I do, will you give me my job back? No. Her eyes widened with disbelief. Then what's the point? The point, I said, leaning forward, is to do the right thing because it is right. For once in your life, Claire, act without calculating what you'll gain. Her shoulders slumped. You've destroyed me. No, I replied, my voice soft but firm. You destroyed yourself. I simply refuse to be your victim. Claire covered her face and sobbed. Anna and I waited in silence. When she finally looked up, mascara streaked her cheeks like ink. I'll tell him, she whispered. I'll tell Michael everything. Good, I said, because if you don't, I will. She rose slowly, every movement heavy with defeat. I don't deserve forgiveness, she said. That, I answered, is the first true thing you've said today. After she left, Anna exhaled. Mom, do you think Michael will leave her? I don't know, I said quietly, but if he stays, I'll know I didn't raise the man I thought I raised. That night, Michael called. His voice was ragged, tired. Mom, Claire told me everything. The debts, the lies, the way she treated you. She even admitted she never thought you were good enough for me. My chest tightened. I see. I'm so sorry, he said, his voice breaking. I failed you when you needed me most. I should have defended you at the funeral. That is your first step, son, I said gently. I asked her for a divorce, he continued. It hurts, but I feel free. Like a weight I didn't know I carried is gone. Tears stung my eyes. Your father would be proud of the man you're becoming. Months passed. Michael began working at one of the boutiques as a floor salesman, starting from the bottom. When he visited my office wearing the store's simple uniform, a new humility shone in his eyes. Hardest job I've ever done, he admitted, but the most rewarding. Yesterday, a widow came in dressed simply. My old instincts told me to send her to clearance. Instead, I gave her the same service I'd give any VIP. She bought only a $50 scarf, but the joy on her face, I finally understand what you and Dad tried to teach me. I squeezed his hand, pride swelling. This is what real wealth means, Michael character, not money. Even Claire, months later, surprised me. One quiet afternoon, my phone rang. Her voice was tentative, stripped of arrogance. Miss Coleman, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I wanted to thank you. Losing everything showed me what matters. I've learned that true elegance is how you treat people, especially when they can give you nothing in return. I regret the pain I caused you. I listened, a strange peace settling over me. I'm glad you've learned, I said softly. When I hung up, the sunset bathed my office in gold. I thought of my late husband, of the promise he'd asked of me, don't let anyone trample on you once I'm gone. Elias, I whispered into the glowing sky. Justice came, not just as revenge, but as a lesson. Our children will be fine. I closed my eyes, content. The sweetest victory wasn't firing Claire. It was watching my family learn that true wealth is kindness and true elegance is respect. If this story made you gasp or left you cheering for poetic justice, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe for more real-life tales of betrayal and sweet revenge. Share this with someone who loves a twist ending and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were in her shoes? Your next favorite story is just one click away. Join me for the next shocking life lesson.